up a Dubby in the channel minute, boys. My guy Dubby at a weird time of the day a little bit for you. We're 10:41 a.m. here, and here you are. There was some sign. I don't know, boys. Some of your boys were like, hey, you said 10:30. Dubby is inbound, but here we are, bro. You made it, man. Great morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. I appreciate it. Before we start, man, I just want to say that I am proud of you. You've grown a lot in a year. You've grown a lot. I mean, more than anybody else, pretty much on the platform. You've taken advantage of opportunity, and you have really endured a lot of fans in this year, and you've used it as best you can, man. And it seems weird, but I get very motivated by the work that you've been doing, and everybody in your circle and everybody around your area that really I invested in you, so to speak, and it motivates me like you guys will never understand, because if you guys are putting this much work and you're putting this much time to grow, who am I to sit back and be lazy? So it's definitely something that has motivated me in this past year, and I just want to say that I'm proud of you and I'm happy for the success that you have had, and I appreciate you having me on the show.
Bro, that's fucking wild. Okay. Unexpected, bro, and so well appreciated. Like, I think of, like lifetime in the terms of the channel, like the lifetime of the channel, big important moments that wound up meaning something in, like, the longer term that I can look back on and be like, yo, that was a turning point. Like, that was a moment, that was a night. And, I was going to look for an opportunity to talk to you about it tonight, of course, but in the course of my channel and really the people that I met and everything that happened after the Saturday night that you came in, I forget what you had even called it, but in my experience of it was W is hosting a tournament with literally just Madden point blank period. Every single notable name in Madden, every competitor that I had ever heard of was playing in the thing. It was a massive production, as you built upon and became even more so later, which I want to hear about. Probably 12, 14 beers deep, maybe 25 people rocking on a console, fucking shit trash mic streaming off my PS4. And I look at the thing and it was like, I think it was 804. Dub.W's rating with a party of 804. And I mean, I did my best with it, but in the lifetime of the channel, like friends I made from there, people who will still come back around and be like, yo, I met you off that Dubby raid. So there's like a moment in the channel, that Dubby raid, and I mean, that's just indicative of, I think, the impact and like the shockwave that you have. So for you to tell me that like any bit of that can be reciprocated and you're feeling motivated and pressed forward, that's super fucking dope. And I really appreciate you sharing that with me, because you were in a lot of ways a driving force, even in a raid that you might not even remember, like I do. So the respect and appreciation is certainly mutual, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do that to a lot of people.
I know that.
It's so it's not everybody capitalizes. That's what you're doing well with. So you took it and ran with it better than anybody else has. And that's why you're here, and that's why we're on this podcast here, talking to this congregation in the morning.
Man. That's right, bro. And the congregation's excited to have you. So, bro, like the point of these Fen Talks is, so we get to know like W as an entertainer fairly well. Like, we know the showman and we know the entertainment factor that you bring, but it doesn't always like come to pass that like you get to talk about parts of the origin story, like where you're coming from, like experiences, and wind up like shaping your value system and how hard you work and what you think is important. You're a brand new father. I want to talk about that, of course, but like, where did you, so I mean, we could start from the top, kind of start from the beginning. Where did you grow up and who's in the house growing up? Mom, dad, you have any siblings? What's the house look like as a kid?
I grew up in Philadelphia. I was born in 1987. I'm 34 years old. So, but yeah, my mom and my dad were in the house probably until I was in third grade, and my parents split up. And I have one sister. She's 2 years younger than me, so she's going to be 31 here this month.
31
and that's it. So yeah, my dad was always working. For the most part, my mom was stay-at-home mother for, my dad took care of everything from cutting down trees. That was his job. He originally climbed for people, climbed trees and everything, then probably started his own business. Probably before I was 5 years old, he had his own business cutting trees, and that's pretty much what I grew up doing because he was doing it, and that's what held our family together, was that for my whole life for the most part, and then my parents split up in third grade. And
I
then my
think that
mom
was right
wound up
around
getting a job.
when mine did also
Yeah.
like third grade-ish. That was kind of tough because like you're like kind of in the thick of like figuring out who you're gonna be. So I did not have a good experience with it. Was it all right in your house or was kind of shitty?
I mean, it's never a good
Yeah,
experience. I don't think somebody can say, well, yeah, it was good.
yeah.
It's definitely something that changed you. I think my father was more the disciplinary, and once he was moved out, then it was you were your mother, and then your parents also feel, both of them, no matter what, they feel bad and responsible, so they'll definitely treat you a little bit more lackadaisical as far as discipline and as far as just being stern because they feel so bad for them not making out and what they did to your life. So they're always going to be, I don't want to say a little bit easier on you, but it's just going to be a different. It was, for me, it was a different uh atmosphere living or when my parents split up as opposed to when they were together under the same roof, for sure. But I would not be the person I am today without it, for sure.
Because you kind of had to like figure it out on your own. Then do you feel like that lack of discipline? Like were you like traditionally like acting out as a kid a little bit? Were you finding trouble? Were you more just kind of keeping yourself playing video games? Like what was like the personality of Dubby like back then?
I don't want to say I was a big gamer. I really wasn't. I mean, this was like before the internet and video games.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the internet is what took video games to the next level. So I definitely wasn't a big gamer. Um, and I guess you always act out, but that's, I feel like every normal boy does, and I just feel like I think every boy that has in the most part, but I think you do act out, even if it's subconsciously, just because you're upset from your household, your parents, but I did for the most part. Yeah, after my parents split up and I was in 6th grade, I was always pretty good in school. I was always smart, like super smart. But then once they split up, my attention to detail and my procrastination and my really not giving a shit
Right.
really multiplied from that point on, for the most
So a
part.
smart kid, were you already drawing at that point?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, my dad was a drafter before he started climbing trees. He was an architect, and he
Okay.
used to, do drawings for different machine parts and stuff like that. So that was always something that he was good at, was drawing, and my mom to some extent as well. So he always instilled that little bit of artwork in me, so in 3rd grade and autumn years, yeah, I always wanted to draw and stuff like that. I think it's an extension of my creative side for the most part.
And I mean, it really turned into something remarkable. I saw you recently made an Instagram for some of your drawings, and you had to note that you don't sell them. If you guys haven't seen them, what's the handle on the Instagram again? I forgot.
It's dub.draws. That's what it is.
So
No
I just say,
spaces,
I'm just
dub.draws.
saying that, not that you need my plug. I'm just saying it in case you haven't seen one of them. Like this shit is actually like fairly remarkable. Where like, and I imagine a product of a lot of time. When did you spend time in your life like perfecting this craft?
Probably for the last 20, 30 years for the most part, I guess. I mean, it's been forever. Every class I was able to take, whether it be middle school, high school, college, and the summer schools, everything was art driven because I liked it and I was good at it. You're trying to drive towards the things you're good at, and art was definitely one of them. And I still get better. It's something you can teach yourself just as much as someone else can teach you. So that's something that I get better at every day from here on out, drawing. So it's hard to find the time. I always think of it as kind of my retirement plan right now, as I'm staring at computer screens for, 16 hours a day now. But it's definitely something I'm going to try to, once my fingers don't really work for video games, they'll definitely be able to keep drawing and then maybe turn it into something, that I can monetize. But right now it's just for me.
And it must be what art when it's good, it's like comes from a place of you must really enjoy it. It seems too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I enjoy it, and it's like it becomes like things that I want to give to my son, or I want to give to my family, or have forever. I show off to people like, yeah, I love this drawing I did. It's not it's a prideful thing. Like, yeah, look at this. So I always try to take real good care of it. I spend a lot of money on frames, and in my office alone, I've got to have upwards of $5,000 just in framing in my office. So, and I feel like I'm the only person that does that. Everybody else goes the cheap route with framing. But if the stuff in the frame means a lot to you, I mean, why not make it look good and make it hold up for the most part?
Yeah, I'm a big proponent. If you're going to do something, just do it one time correctly, so you don't need to do it again in the future. Like, and there's also, you get what you pay for. So, the better stuff is going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
But you reference you're, a little bit short on time, of course. Reference that, some of this art you might want to pass down to your son, bro. You were a new father, bro. You fucked around. You created life, dog.
Yeah,
that's
pretty good, and it makes you think like, what was the years before this for? And then, everybody will tell you that it will change your life, but there's nothing that can really prepare you for it. It's like 10 times what everybody tells you, because you'll hear it the whole time when, you're pregnant, you're going up there, it's going to change your life. And you don't breeze it off, but you listen, but you just can't prepare. And it's becomes that you're no longer living your life for yourself anymore. Without a doubt, everything you do is for your kids. And so I've definitely felt that for the last 6 months. And so it's something that has made me a better person, without a doubt.
Yeah, man, it's got to change your priority set completely. Are you okay with the fact that he is significantly better looking than you? Are you going to be all right, like living his whole, 18
he was
plus
blessed.
years?
I will tell you that when he came out that first hour, I was a little worried what he's going to look like. And they don't really tell you now. The nurses said they'll give you warning and that the baby's not going to look that cute when he first comes out. But he came out so fast that I didn't get that warning. I was a little scared that first hour. I was like, is this what he's going to look like? But
so they come out like pretty like smushed, they're not looking right. Yeah,
his head was like a football. he was like purple. I was like, I didn't know what happened, but definitely he's came around since then. So definitely an exciting thing.
That's a beautiful thing. I got a big ass head. My father said I was born like same thing before, like my head like shaped out. He said I had a 2-stage cone head. I like came up a little like a 2-piece. He was he also was not appreciative. You got to wear like helmets. Like do you have to get that? Is that a part of like head shaping here to avoid the football thing?
Head shaping is a myth that you just let it go, and
because that's terrifying to me. I feel like I've never seen that.
Life, yeah.
Okay, you're not in with the helmet bit with the kids?
No, honestly, I don't know how it happened. You would never believe it. Like, how the hell is his head going to go back into shape? But like, how is his head? But it just naturally does. Like it's not. There's not. Think about it. Really, there's really not that many people walking around with a cone-shaped head. Like, there's people with big heads, but there's nobody really a cone-shaped head. And do you think every person was wearing a helmet for the first month of their life or getting their head shaped?
Definitely.
No, it's just and they tell you, the nurses tell you, it will naturally go back. And it did. It's pretty crazy.
That's kind of relief, because no disrespect, of course, but some of these kids really out here looking silly. And I'm looking for, of course, I've looking forward to fatherhood. Hopefully, I'm blessed to be able to be a father at some point in my life. But I'm looking at these helmets like, damn, is this part of the deal? My goodness. So from Philly, obviously, anyone who knows you, first thing they know about you, you live and you breathe Philadelphia Eagles football. Was this just geographical, like just what you grew up around? Was it deeper than that? I know Dawkins was huge to you. What's like the origin story on what like really got the hooks in for your fandom as an Eagles fan?
I mean, it's definitely geographical, and my father, I guess, started that. You kind of get your teams from your parents, I guess. So I guess I only had one opportunity for that, and it definitely trickled down to me. I've always thought your teams represent where you're from to the rest of the country. That's kind of, it's almost like a gang affiliation. Like, this is where I'm from. This is where I grew up.
Right.
So they represent you and the group of people that you grew up around. So for me, I feel like if you're not a hometown team support, like how can you pick and choose where you want to go? I feel like, I was born into that, and so therefore it's just a little more powerful. And it's easy to pick any team you want, but these are the teams I'm with, and no matter what. So people ask me, what's up with you? I don't know. They're my team. I want to root for them no matter who's on the team. But so us hardcore, we call it 4-for-4 fans. We really have a distaste for the people that just wake up and choose willy-nilly who they want to root for. So for me, if you root for any other team that's not your hometown team, you're just fugazi. That's like, and it's kind of the lowest form of human, to be honest.
My goodness. I mean, I guess there's something to be said for, like, I don't mind people who will also, though, root for players, for example. Like, I loved, watching. You're super not with that either?
No. If you root for a player, you really don't have a team. That's how I feel.
Fair
You know,
enough.
for me, it's like, all right, I like my team. I don't give a shit about any other player. Honestly, it's hard for me to root for anybody. I like players, but root for them, like cheer, no, not happening.
Fair enough. What about like football for yourself? Were you an athlete in high school or growing up at all?
I didn't play in high school. I played in junior college. I went to a trade school, and I played there. I played tight end. I could always catch the ball. We used to play football all the time. Like outside of, after school or in the middle of the night, play football. We used to play all the time. I could catch the ball really well, and I'm big, so.
How big are you? Like what, 6'2", plus?
Yeah, I'm like 6'2". Yeah,
I bet.
For sure,
Okay.
definitely. So I could catch the ball very well. So I played tight end. I played second string tight end in junior college, but it was like a trade school, so nobody was there to play football. Right. It was almost like an afterthought, like a secondary thing. Right. And because it was a junior college, you played all the other junior colleges. Now, junior colleges are the schools where kids that don't have good enough grades but are going to make the NFL, they have to go to junior college for a year to get their grades up. So we're playing all the the D1 athletes that aren't good, smart enough to get into a program they got to go to. So sometimes you run into a team with like 5 like monsters on it. Right. And that's when you realize that, like, there's different human beings in this world. There's like and when you see them on the football field against regular men, then it's like, oh my God, like this is a different person. They stand out. So I remember we played, it was Valley Forge Military Academy. Valley Forge is like one of the big D1 schools that people or JUCO schools that people go to try to get ready for D1. And Valley Forge, they had beat my school 50-0 the year before.
It's hot. Yikes.
So we got a new coach, and the coach, the first when that day started, it was I think Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. He was like, it's not going to be 50-0 this year. So we got a safety somehow. We were losing 3-2 at halftime. 3-2.
Off a safety?
Off a safety. I don't remember how it happened, right? So it was 3-2. He's like, it's not going to be 50-0. It wound up being, I think, 60-2. That same 2. We didn't score.
There ain't no way.
So they scored 57 points or something in the second half. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I think they put some extra people in that weren't supposed to be in, and yeah.
So we might see you guys like appearing on like as the other team on one of these Netflix shows where like the JUCO, like all the kids with the discipline problems and the bad grades go and just mop the hell out of these porch. So these are trade. Okay, I didn't know the trade schools wind up in like the warpath of these dudes, because those are like you said, like those are real deal like D1A recruits that just didn't go to class, and that's oh my goodness gracious, bad.
Yeah, it was rough. But
so when did Madden come up as like a thing in your life? Was this early on when you're in trade school? Was it a little bit later? Like when did it become, what was like the seeds of what it became to be?
Madden was just like any other friendly competition in the neighborhood, I guess, when I was probably 14 or 15. I played and the chat, there's probably a nerd in the chat. I played NFL 2K with T.O. on the cover because T.O. was on the cover, and it was $20. Right. That's the number one reason why. It was $20. I played Game Day 98, and then the next football game I played in some little NCAAs, whatever, just like by myself and stuff.
Yeah.
So then I played NFL 2K1 or whatever, 2K5. That was the one with T.O. on the cover. Because he was on the Eagles. Yes, he was on the Eagles, and it was $20. It was a no-brainer for me. Just playing the computer, having fun. Then my buddies in the neighborhood would start playing Madden, and they would start gambling Madden in the basements and everything. And they can't be that good at this game. And I remember my two friends, Jeff was the best, my buddy Jeff, and my other buddy's name was Moody. And Jeff and Moody were the best, and they used to play all the time. And then, so I started getting into Madden to play with them and play the other guys. So it's just like naturally, like any other competition, you got to beat all the undercards first before you get to them.
Yeah, you got to.
And I remember one time Jeff was like, "You want to play Madden?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm ready." And he took me. That's my friend. Like, so he took me. I remember to his house. Went upstairs. We played Madden. He beat me 3 straight games. for $20 each. So I lost $60 as like
tough.
a 14-year-old kid. That's a lot.
That hurts big, yeah.
And I'll never forget the helpless feeling I had. And this is what kind of molds you as like what you want to do. Like everybody gets to these crossroads and whatever.
Yeah, this is a moment.
But
this is what I come for. Yeah.
I never forget sitting there and trying to move the ball, and I felt like he had so many people pass rushing and somehow still has so many goddamn zones. I'll never forget it. I never forget where the TV was, and the feeling I had is like I had no answer. And I remember that. So I kept going on back and forth, and then a couple months later we play again, and I remember I had the San Diego Chargers. This is when they had Malcolm Floyd and Vincent Jackson and Antonio Gates. I remember beating Jeff in the basement. I remember it, and he was so flustered and so flabbergasted that I beat him. And he said, "You guys changed the rosters. This team is not that good. And we made this back when they had memory cards. So we took out the memory card and booted the game back up, and he saw that we did not change the Chargers. Antonio Gates was that good. I remember him walking out of the basement. So me beating Jeff was like my first crowning achievement in Madden. And from there, it just, Madden 08. And I want to say Madden 06 was the first year I plugged in the good old internet to the computer and or to the Xbox or the PlayStation 2. It was then.
Yeah, I think that was one of the first years you could, right? I think that was one of the first years that actually had remote. Like maybe 05 if you had the adapt or something like that. But 06 now you don't have to. Now it's just not your boy down the road, and you could play other people. We were talking about this with Shop. They had the lobbies and whatnot, right?
Yeah, and I remember that. That was another moment, another crossing point where this dude beat the shit out of me the first time I played online. He picked the Titans. Here I am with the Eagles. The Titans aren't good. The Titans were amazing. They had Drew Bennett, Calico. They were unreal.
Huge.
But it was so bad. He was blocking the shit out of my punts. It was like I'll never forget it. I'll never forget losing that game, that specific game. And I was like, okay, the internet's a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So then we go on to Madden 07, Madden 08. Madden 08 was the time I was like, okay, it's time to get an Xbox 360, because I used to go on a website. It was called the Gamers Lab, and they talked about Madden. It was a forum post. They talked about Madden. I used to go on there, and once they started calling Xbox 360 the current gen instead of the next gen, right, I was like, all right, it's time. So I went there and I bought an Xbox. That's when I switched from PlayStation to Xbox 360, which is, probably at least the top 3 console all time. I think I still want to give PlayStation 2. I think that's probably the GOAT system.
I would agree.
But Xbox 360 gives it a run for its money for sure. Fair. And I got Madden 08, and I'll remember that. I'll boot that game up. I remember this guy sacking the shit out of me and Nano Blitz. I'll never forget the first Nano Blitz I ever had. I never played against. Yep. Man 08, it was 335 odd. 3 I think. And it was just show blitz, and the nickelback would be right over the guard, and he would tackle my quarterback instantly. And honestly, it was another crossroad. What the hell? What is this? What am I going to do? I remember, these are such vivid memories of Madden. I had the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was my team. I was using, I think, Byron Leftwich or something, one of those guys. And he was sacking the shit out of me. And I was like, how does somebody do this? And then I figured out what the defense was. I tried to find it and fine-tune it. It never quite worked like that. And so that was the moment of Madden 08 that I realized I got to step it up. Another level I had to level up on. I wound up being a top 10 online ranked Madden 08 player, and I was so proud of that. I got to number 7 in the whole world. Dope. Online ranked games, playing for free, playing regular teams. That's why regular teams has never gone anywhere. It's always still in the game. And we played the shit out of regular teams. To the game was broken. We just played and played and played and played and played. Never complained. So I made top 10. I thought I was the man. That was another crossroads where I learned that shit really didn't matter. I went to the Madden Challenge in Philly. I won the first game easily. The second game I played somebody that knew what he was doing, and I lost that game. I was like, okay, I didn't really know what I was doing for the most part. And Madden 09 came around. I learned another valuable lesson. Madden 09 was the worst Madden. Well, Madden 20 gave it a run, but Madden 09 previously was the worst Madden ever. And the Cowboys were the best team by far. They were the best team. Nobody could compete with them. No brainer, no doubt about it. Have to pick the Cowboys. Almost kind of like the Packers were this year, but way worse. They were the best team.
Even worse.
Me being a stupid Eagles fan, I'm not picking the Cowboys. No way. So I'm already hamstringing myself.
Right.
Boom. I go out there and I lose. And the worst part is that I picked the Giants. So it wasn't like I picked the Eagles. I picked the Giants. The Cowboys we have just that much more disdain for the Cowboys than the Giants or the Washington football team. So I learned a lesson that year I learned that lesson that, you got to play with the best team. You can't tippy toe around that, man. If you got to can't bring a knife to the gunfight. So you got to bring the best thing out there. And that's what happened in Madden 09 for me.
So that's why you're probably fine with using the Packers when need be this year.
Oh, absolutely. And then Madden 09 that happened. I lost the first game in the Madden Challenge. That was rough.
Tough.
And so I remember watching the Madden Challenge. I lost the first game. RG, who does works at EA now, he actually won in Philly. He won that tournament. I watched him win that in Philly. So
because he was a comp guy before he wound up linking up with EA, like long before, right?
Yes, absolutely. And so that was, I felt like I'm not here yet. I always felt like, I'm not that good at the game. Like I always had, I don't want to say confidence, but I just felt like, it's not worth me traveling to these tournaments and spending $1,000 I'm probably going to lose. I've always had that realization that, percentages would say I'm going to lose. Like, I'm not going to win. I'm not going to make my money back. I'm going to lose money. I've always, I don't want to say it was a smart thing or like a scared thing, but I think it's a little bit of both, really.
A little bit of realism, a little bit of pessimism, both, I guess.
Yes, and I never really went all out to travel to all these other cities, the tray of Madden challenges, played in all these tournaments. Because Madden, I loved it, but it wasn't like my life like it has been the last 5 years. But and then so 09, then Virgin Gaming came around. Virgin Gaming for Madden player was the best thing ever, honestly, because you could just play. It was like search for a game. You put $3 in, search for a game. The winner gets $5. Now you can leave with your $5, or you can play again.
Oh, if you win the next game, now you get 13. Is this like the first iteration of Players Lounge type of deal?
It was the best. It was the best site because you couldn't pick who you played. You just go.
Right.
It was literally like a ranked game. I'm searching for weekend league. Boom. That's what I get. You put $3 in. You win the first game. Like I said, you get $5, and it goes down this ladder until you get to like the fourth one, and then it's like you got $30. Do you want to play again to try to win 50? So in other words, you win 3 games for $50. It's not bad, especially if you're good and you're playing a bunch of random people. So it really was a good thing. That was the first time I really made money from playing Madden. This is probably Madden 12. I remember cashing out a check for upwards of $800 from Madden. Was pretty cool.
That's nuts.
So yeah. And then it was kind of low. I just pretty much played for fun. I was in my 20s. I really didn't give a shit about video games. I really didn't. Like, from Madden 12 to, like, Madden... I don't even remember, like, Madden 12, 13, 25. I don't remember that shit.
Right.
But then Madden 16 came out, and that's the year they started the MCS with the Madden Challenge and the Madden 16. And this was probably my most important lesson that I learned that helped me the most. Madden 16, the first Madden live event ever. I'm ready to go there. It was draft champions. I had a great draft. I was very, very good at Madden 16. And I was playing Boogs, my friend. We weren't that close at the time, but we were playing, and I was beating the shit out of him. Like, this was a free game. This was free. This was as free as a game could get to the live event, to make a check for Madden, get to the live event. They fly you somewhere. Super excited.
Yeah.
So I'm just pile driving his shit into the ground. But sometimes in a Madden game, you can beat somebody and not be up by 21 points or not. But it was as one-sided as the game could be. I wound up being up 3 points with under 2 minutes left. I remember I had CJ Spiller as my running back. I had such a good team. The chips were in a line. The chips were absolutely in a line for me. I was excited. Throw this pass down to CJ Spiller. I get to the 1 yard line. Under 2 minutes, I'm up by 3 points. I'm up by 3 points. So if I score a touchdown, I'll be up by 10. Under 2 minutes, he'll be out of timeout. The game's over, right?
Over, right? Yeah.
So I have first and goal on the 1 yard line, right? So worst case scenario, I make him use all his timeouts. I kick a field goal, and we're up by 6.
Still needs a touchdown, right?
Yeah. So I go quarterback sneak first play. Because it's safe. You got to see what they got for it. Yeah. You know, worst case scenario, you don't get anything. You're not going to lose yards on a sneak. You might just not get anything. Right. He'll use a timeout. So it's a safe call, quarterback sneak. He had a defense where it looked super sweet. Like the D-line was spread. The line, nobody was there, but he would run commit. I snapped the ball, and my quarterback gets hitch-sticked. He fumbles the ball, and Boogs picks it up and goes 99 yards for a touchdown to take the lead in the game.
Not like this.
So it was rough. I'm like, all right, he doesn't deserve to be in this game. But I get the ball back. I have a minute left to go get a touchdown now because I need a touchdown because I'm down by 4.
Been down before.
And I get the touchdown. All right, of course. No doubt about it. We go down there. We get the touchdown. We get the touchdown. Yep. So we are now up by 3 points with about 30 seconds left. This was Madden 16. I don't know how many of you guys played Madden 16, but Madden 16 was the year of the aggressive catch where you could lob it up. And there's this wide receiver, this white wide receiver who might have actually played on a trade school team. His name was Chris Hogan. Chris Hogan.
I think he actually went to Monmouth, bro, in New Jersey. I think we played him at U-Albany, bro. D1 AA.
There you go. Chris Hogan.
Facts. Yeah.
So Buzz has run out of time. I actually have him. Now in Madden 16, I ran quarters 3 deep, and I rushed 2 people. So people this year, but about 2 people rush. It's been around Madden forever. It's been the one-man rush. People need to stop crying. Right, so I rushed 2 people in quarters 3 deep, and he lobbed the ball up to Chris Hogan, and it wasn't a one-on-one. It was on 2 people, right? It was on the whole damn team. He catches, but this wasn't for a touchdown. This was to get him like the 40-yard line, fringe field goal range. No, he was in field goal range to tie the game, and I'm cool with that. And then he likes Hogan, so he goes back to Hogan for the game, and he gets another one-on-one aggressive catch for a touchdown, and he wins the game. And it devastated me to lose a game like this, but it made me to the point where I don't. There's nothing worse than that. You get to the point where I'm going to make a live event, I'm going to make something to Madden, I'm going to be on this stage, and for them to take it from you, or for the game to cheat you that bad, there's nothing that can be worse than that. Right. So every time it seems like I ever get cheated in a big game, it's so easy to brush it off because I've been through so much worse. For sure. So I would say that's another one of the lessons that I learned in my Madden career. That I so many people cry and cry. I mean, we just are. It's just people in the video games just cry and complain about them and blame the game so much. For me, it's always what did I do wrong. I've never gotten cheated that bad, so I always compare it to that, so it doesn't affect me raging. I always rage. Everybody rages at the moment, but to linger and be upset about it, that just doesn't happen anymore because of that game. So Madden 08,
that was
Madden
16. I think you said
happened. Yeah, Madden 16. Yeah, that's
like
when
the hardest.
Happened.
That was like the hardest cheating you've ever had to endure.
Yes, and then after that it was the Madden Bowl or Madden Championship, whatever. The last tournament of the year, I remember I was the 1 seed. I was the best ranked player in Madden 16.
Right,
unreal in MUT. I was really, really good, and I lost the first game. I played this guy Jay Farr, who still comes around the chat from time to time, still supports and everything, but I would beat the shit out of this kid in the regular season or in the ranked games all the time. I think I was probably 8-0 versus him, and I just played a bad game. First round of this big tournament, when I was so good that year, I played a bad game. I lost the first game. That's just another lesson. I mean, I've had every type of loss and every type of win you can have, so Madden 16 taught me a lot, and then Madden 17 was when I just capitalized on everything. I played really good.
Because, I mean, you had learned these lessons in humility pretty much every single year up to this point. I mean, you had to break through eventually, and that you feel like that was it?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I don't really, I understand Madden that sometimes when you're good, you're going to win some games, and sometimes you're going to lose some games.
For sure.
But all these things from Madden 06 to Madden 08 to Madden, 12 to 16, all these little lessons I learned even from all the way back with Jeff and Moody playing in the basement. They all build your Madden resume, I guess, or your Madden lessons learned, or your character when it comes to playing the game. And Madden 17, I was 29 years old. I'm still the oldest Madden major winner by a wide margin, actually, still. So
wild.
I definitely learned a lot. But Madden 17, the first tournament was Draft Champions. I lost to Evilo online, so everybody knows if it's Evilo, it's probably joke online. I remember Eddie Lacy just shit the bed for me. That's a card I'll never have. I hate that guy. Eddie Lacy just could not punch the ball in, could not fall forward for me. Cost me that game. And then the next tournament, Madden 17 was good because you got rewarded so much by playing online. They had a top 4. If you got top 4 in the leaderboards, you didn't have to play any single elimination. And that's how I got to when I won the belt. I just made top 4 online, grinded the game, and then got to the group play. Got through that, got to Orlando. I remember going to Orlando the first time, the first live event, and that's when I told my parents, "Yeah, I got $5,000 and I'm going to Orlando." Yeah. Between me and you, I was happy as a pig in shit getting $5,000 and going to Orlando to play Madden. So
for sure,
I don't want to say I was content, but yeah, I was kind of content. Honestly, I was like, okay,
yeah.
Oh. So I went to Orlando, and from there, I just played some of the best games of my life. Really, I could have had a bad weekend. I could have had a good weekend, and I was blessed to have. That was probably the best tournament they've ever thrown by a wide margin. The one I won. I mean, we started in Orlando at the Pro Bowl, made the final 8, and then went to the next day in Orlando, made the final 4.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got to go to another city the next weekend. I got to go from the Pro Bowl to the Super Bowl in Houston, which is like, okay, we're in the Super Bowl, now we're in Houston. 2 cities I haven't been to. I went to Orlando when I was a kid, but then I go to Houston. I've never been to Texas, so now I'm in Houston.
Right.
Okay, so then we're playing we're playing in the Super Bowl experience, like it was like a convention center for the Super Bowl. So I'm just thousands of people walking by and everything. And it was a real live atmosphere. And I had already had $20,000, dude. I'm going to Orlando. I got $20,000. I told you I was happy with 5. What do you think I was for 20? I mean, when I won the game to get to that extra weekend, get to Houston, that was super emotional for me because, like, one, it was probably the biggest underdog, one of the biggest underdog wins to get to that Final Four for sure. And
right. It's a breakthrough moment.
Yeah. Then I'm playing Skimbo. I know I'm playing them for a week. And that's honestly what I'll always be best at is just preparation and knowing, like, having a plan, and all my plans in that Madden tournament worked. Sometimes they don't work, and they always say, well, how does your plan work when you get punched in the mouth and everything like that? All my plans worked. Everything I had planned to do, everything I had defensively off, all of it worked.
Do you remember any times during that tournament where you punched in the mouth at any point? Was there any times you were like, fuck, like this does not need to be another learning experience for me? Nah, it just went according to plan, top to bottom.
Oh, I got punched in the mouth a lot. Dude, I do an interception in every single one of my games, which is, I mean, that's per course, I guess.
Right.
I played Hollywood to get to to get to Houston. That was the game I talked about. That was emotional. He was the best. He was the best player at the time. He's kind of not been around the last 4 years or something, but Hollywood was unreal. Beat the shit out of everybody in his little group play. Yeah. He was really good player. So nobody gave me a chance in this game. And I remember Deion Sanders. I had him on. I'm such an emotional person. Like, the cards that balled for me will always be my favorite on my team until they're just not in the game. And I put Deion Sanders in the position to just man up all his routes, and he played a hell of a game for me. And things just really went my way that game. But even that game, I could have been up 13-0. I throw an interception, let him get 3 points. It's just little things. But I win that game. Skimbo, I'm down by 7 with 3 minutes left in the game, and I fumble in his field goal range, so he gets the easy field goal to go up 10. And I mean, nobody ever could but me. I'm like, damn, okay, GG's. I'm down 10. It's 2 minutes left.
Right.
I got $20,000. Skimbo's a hell of a player. I think he's the best player ever.
Right.
And so, but You know, I just kept fighting, and then I wound up winning the game. Then versus Problem, they asked me after I beat Skimbo, who do you want to play, Mo or Problem? I'm the only person. You know, most people, I don't really care who my opponent is, but people are great. No, I said I want to play Problem. He's the best. He's the best ever,
Respect,
and for me to win, that would be cool.
Yeah.
And I get him, and I throw a pick 6 to Problem with all these people around, and probably what I'm most proud of is I threw the pick 6 to give him the lead. He's up 10-7. It's like, damn, could be an avalanche avalanche. Absolutely, like the biggest moment. You throw a pick 6 to the best player ever. That next drive, I go down the field, just not effortlessly, but just with so much precision. And and I scored a touchdown to answer that interception. So for me, that's the drive of like my career, I guess. Not the most clutch, but it was like, you know,
against
get
Problem,
back up
given the setting, like given the circumstances. That was the one. Yeah,
for sure. So for me, that was it. So yeah, I will always, and then I win that game, and I will always take pride in that I beat the 2 best players ever. I pretty much in everybody's book, and Skimbo and Problem back to back. Like a lot of people, you know, the term Mickey Mouse gets thrown around a lot nowadays, but that was the furthest thing from Mickey Mouse. You know, for me, that's what I'm most proud of for the most part. Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing, man. So, I mean, competitive success now aside, you've also kind of forged a way into the, you know, being right now, we could just call it what it is, probably the most exciting, influential Madden content creator in what you're putting out with Boss Bot Wars. So now, with where you're at right now, are you going to be competing next year on Next Gen?
Yeah, I mean, everybody asks that question, like, why wouldn't I? You know, I mean, it's not, it's so many discussions, like the two things are mutually exclusive.
Right.
I remember after Madden 17, it goes back to me being kind of scared and pessimistic and everything. Yeah. Listen, I'm probably not going to win another Madden tournament. So it's just, Dritty and Skimbo and Brown, they're psychos. They're not real humans. They're really not. They're that good. And but for me, I kind of have that realism. How can I, propel this championship? I just want into something substantial. So that's why the streaming thing and everything. And I enjoy it. But so that's pretty much what I made the bet on there. And so and there's just so much discussion about man's not worth it. They're not. You don't have to stop competing to put all this effort in behind the scenes. Of course, it's going to hurt your competing. It's definitely going to. It's hamstrings it to another level. Okay. But they're still not mutually exclusive.
I agree. Yeah, that's why I asked
you. You can definitely do both. Madden 18, I felt so much pressure. I have to get back there to make something of myself in this stream. I have to get back to a main stage. And the Madden 18 Classic, only 4 people from online get it. Nowadays, they celebrate getting in the top 64 of a tournament. That's just what they do. I made the live events. There's top 64 of the tournament. In the Madden 18 Classic, you had to be top 4 to get online, to get to the live event. Yeah, and I remember I ran through a super gauntlet. I remember beating Blocky in the game to get there, and the joy to get back there. Like, I need this, because I put pressure on myself. Like, I need this to, propel this streaming thing, I started a business. I put $10,000 in all this damn equipment, everything. There's pressure on me, and to win that game to get to that live event was important. And it felt good, but you can do both. I've always done both. Whether it's 17, it's not like I didn't stream then. It just wasn't as big as it is now. And 18, I did the same thing.
Did you hop when you started streaming? Did you hop? Were you like both feet in? You had the equipment and everything you need. Was there like a console come up story, or like you're off the bare minimum first?
Yes, everybody streams from the console first. I remember streaming from the console. My chat was on the screen. I played on a 60-inch plasma. My chat was literally on the screen while I played. Yeah. So it cut off half or a portion of my screen to see the chat, and it was literally on the screen. So I hate when people use equipment as an excuse. So for me, I definitely started on the on the console, and I was blessed to win a Madden tournament and be able to buy a computer, a couple monitors, and things like that. But you don't need the best equipment to start grinding. That's one thing that people use as an excuse, and it shouldn't be, for real.
For sure. So I mean, this money that you made at this point, now you know a couple things. You know that you can make money off of Madden, and I imagine at that point in your life, I mean, it would have been for me at least. Let me not assume, but one of the larger sums of money you've seen at any one point in your life, I would imagine.
Yeah. Of course, to this day,
right.
Yes.
Facts.
It was. I remember getting a check for $67,000. I didn't know really what to do with it. I remember I went to the bank. I was like, "Do I need a special meeting to deposit this?" So I bring the check into the bank. Yeah, I bring a check to the bank. This is a $67,000 check. I mean, I was a guy that pretty much, if I had $1,000 in my checking account, I was balling at that point.
Facts.
So. For me to get that check, I go sit in the bank. I don't go deposit. I go sit to talk to a specialist. I thought they were going to tell me to invest it or something.
Right.
And I was like, "Yeah, I have a check."
You can't do this here.
And the lady was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Do you need help?" I was like, "Yeah, I have a check to deposit." She was like, "Go in the line." I was like, "Well, it's a pretty big check." She was like, "No, just go in the line and deposit it." They didn't give a shit. But I was like, overwhelmed by it, and I remember trying to, loading up because a lot of times, like, to me to this day, you're scared to look at your bank account. Right, it's a nervous, anxious feeling every time you log into your online banking. It's no matter how much money you have, it's still a nervous feeling.
For sure.
Of okay. And I tell myself every time, "No, all right, I hope it's above this number," and that's the number. I'm like, all right, good. That's the number. I kind of every time I load up, but. For that, that month, I was excited to look at it. And I remember walking out of the bank and hurrying up and refreshing on my phone, like, is this money really going to be in my checking account? I look around and there's $67,000 that I just put on top of probably 300. So yeah, it was pretty good for sure.
Fucking nuts. And that gets you everything you need to get like now, like the real stream setup. Were you already partnered? Was this still on like Twitch, I imagine? Were you streaming on anything else before that?
No, and this is another thing that pissed me. All these guys. Everybody, I started, little man, the baseball guy that I have streamed for the stream team and everything, always had made a big deal about partner. Partner these days, it's with check mark in the chat. People are getting paid just from people are getting sub buttons with 3 viewers and stuff.
Right.
Back when I got partner, that's meant you got a sub button. That means you could make money off of Twitch.
Right.
Before you were partner, you didn't make shit. So being a partner was a big deal then, and I remember getting partner, and that was a feeling like, man, I really am going to make money off just playing the game. So
the metrics are way different too, right? Wasn't it like way more difficult for y'all to get partner at that point? But higher average, I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
Partner. Yeah, we didn't know what that. There was nothing like that. There was no program. There was no guidelines to get partnered. You were just where you're going to make it. And that's why I hate when people pout when they don't get accepted as a partner right away. It's just like, dude, you're already making money. Yeah. It's not going to change your life. You're not going to have more viewers or more subs because you're partnered. It's just not. It's going to be the same thing.
Right.
So for me, these young kids just know what it's like back in my day on the Twitch streets. But I did have 2 accounts. I had an account before this one, and that got deleted. I had some relationship problems that had me get all my social medias deleted. So I had to start over for my Twitch. But this is a good thing. I started fresh and got it going. So I definitely had 2 accounts.
What was the first iteration? What was the first handle?
Dubby3581, like my email. It was terrible. But that's what it was, So
this is an upgrade then. All's well that ends well. I think this wound up going better.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely
Speaking of handles, bro. Speaking of handles, what the fuck? Everyone's rooting for you to get this the OG Twitter back. You're making it work with the replacement, but have they like hit you back about the off a fucking DMCA strike? I didn't even know they did that on Twitter.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know what? It's like Chinese, that DMCA shit. If I would read you like the emails to me, it's like it's Chinese. It really is. Yeah. I'm not the best customer support person. Honestly, I don't give a shit. I really don't. I would just like my name back, my handle back. That would be nice.
Right.
Those are like all the real guys that really still fucked with me. Really are still here. They didn't go anywhere. It's just sounded there was 25,000 people that just wanted giveaways or something. So for me, I really don't. I've kind of gotten over it. It was definitely a super bummer because Outside of Twitch, Twitter was my only social media that had any type of validity to it. So,
Right.
And it was eye opening that, you know what, you live in this. My job is social media, and one of the social media said you can't do your job anymore, and I had no control over it. I can't talk to anybody or anything like that now. So I just that made me, you know, I got to start putting more work in on different avenues to where, what if this happened to Twitch? You know, I would be, you know, on my ass pretty much. So
Yeah.
I got to start working on other avenues.
Did you see it happen to I don't know what the fuck Madden YouTuber happened to this weekend?
Coke?
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking nightmare. They streaming Bitcoin, like some live Bitcoin stream active on the thing. Did you see that when that was happening?
Yes. I didn't watch it, but I definitely saw it, and it's scary. It is scary, and it's eye opening that any given moment these companies could say, you know, no more of you. Yeah. So for me, it's definitely scary.
For sure, bro. I mean,
I got to start building the other ones. I got to start building every social media and just stay focused on that.
Hedge your bets a little bit. I'm sure it's even more so on your end, like even on, you know, as a you know, small fish in the pond. I'll be waking up to emails like, you know, somebody trying to tap into my Instagram. Like I'm getting, you know, since even on a much smaller stage than you, I've had to deal with, like, you know, stuff getting stolen, like login type stuff getting stolen. Are you like pretty well locked down? Have like you had any experiences like weird internet stuff that you've had to avoid? Because now I'm gonna look into that key that somebody else had posted about. I think Eric Mayweather posted about, you know, you could like a physical key to log into some stuff. So it's got me like, you know, thinking about all types of security. Like you feel pretty well locked down after all this time in the public eye?
I guess so.
Yeah.
My dad always never locked the door to the truck.
Yeah.
No matter where we go, it's unlocked, you know. Yeah. Because sometimes you gotta get into it, especially nowadays, everything's like, it's just a nightmare. And now my truck I got, the tailgate if it's locked, the tailgate doesn't go down. So it's just like I grew up where the car was never locked.
Yeah, me too.
You know, the house, you locked the house, but the car never locked. So safety or security for me, I've also had my identity stolen. I had the FBI show up to my door with a picture of an African kid with his name Chris McFarlane on his ID, and he was buying cars with my name and stealing money from old people and all this. So I had that side of it. So my identity's been stolen, and we talk about the money that I got from the tournament, right? So I have all this money in my account. Little I know, somebody hacked that. Somebody took $50,000 out of that account, bought a bunch of shit online.
What?
And I you know, so that between your identity stolen and $50,000 taken out of your bank account, what the hell can people really steal?
Facts.
So I've survived all
nuts.
that.
Yeah.
No, so it's kind of like a lesson how I got cheated in the game. I got my identity stolen and all this money taken from me, and I'm still here. I got all this shit back, you know, and part of me does feel like I am the content, so it's like it's hard to take it. But if you got rid of the channels, you know, I mean, be pretty tough for sure. But you know, so it's definitely scary, but that Twitter thing taught me a lot and made me focus more on branching out and being more productive.
And I mean, on that note of production and branching out, you've, you know, gotten together everyone, if anyone's tapped into Madden at all. Okay, did you start with BBW and reverse engineer it to fit a name of a Madden event, or did you get lucky? Did you start like bot wars and you were like, we could swing this BBW pretty easy and you throw on the bot? Like, keep it real. Do you reverse engineer this from BBW straight up?
No, not at all. That
got
was
lucky.
100. I don't even know how the hell that. I don't even know how like bot boss, but I don't know how it just goes, man. Sometimes you just roll with an idea and it just
does go.
It just snowballs, I guess, you know. So it's always my idea that, you know, people complain about me. You know, you always listen. Sometimes the trolls sound louder than the real people, and they always complain about Madden. Oh, this bunch versus bunch is the same team as the same team. And I've always had a theory that, you know, the B plus players or the B minus players would probably put out some more exciting content than the Skimbos versus Problems. You know,
sure.
Obviously those guys put out great games and are amazing to watch, but I just feel
I know
like
what you mean.
just the shitheadness of those of you know the really good players but not great. Just the boneheadedness. I mean, you know, that's something to uphold, something to watch. Really, you know, Kiv and Drenny aren't making stupid plays. You know, they're not throwing wild interceptions. They're not. They're just not doing wild shit. They're too good.
Right.
You know, so I always thought, you know, watching the average decent players go at it, always would always be entertaining.
And I mean, you've put so many different types of personalities into the same spot. Did you anticipate, like, did you have a pretty good feeling that they were going to mesh like that and you were going to get some of these like classic interactions that, you know, we still see clips of, you know, now even?
It just started with whoever was talking shit in my chat. Really, that's kind of how it started.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing about Wars is it brings back just people talking shit. And they're gonna be on the mic. That goes back to me playing with my Jeff and Moody in the basements and shit like that, and how live events used to be, and what made Madden so exciting was the atmosphere. And you try to recreate that atmosphere. And the other thing that I was really, really adamant about was bringing back the same people. I feel like one of the biggest problems with Madden really taking off is people really don't have that person to root for, because it's so hard to get back to these events and everything like that. Right. So it's hard to root either for somebody or against somebody. Like Joke is probably one of the better players for Madden because so many people root against him.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was adamant about, let's not make it these guys' job to win their way back to the top, but let's just kind of automatically put them there, you know, unless they continue to lose and lose and lose. That way people can get used to seeing the same faces and the same, you know, gameplay and the same rivalries, essentially. You know, if Niner had to win 5 games to win Bot Wars every time, there's no way in hell he'd continue to be the king of Bot Wars. You know, but since we put him up there, you know, he's always going to be there unless he loses 5 games in a row. So the gauntlet idea for me is probably what's going to always make it entertaining, because you know about 80 to 90% of the people that are going to be playing, and you get excited to see them for real. So that's always something I think that's held Madden back from growing to a bigger esport. Is just so many random people, and you don't get that person to root for every single, you know, main event.
Right, yeah. I mean, you've essentially, just by nature of what you're doing, you've installed recurring characters into, you know, what has already become a longer narrative, a longer production, like a show. And I think you're right. I think Madden loses just based on the fact that, like you're saying, like, you're not seeing the same faces name to name. It's not like you can, you know, who you're pulling for your guy this year. Like, I don't know who the guys are, and that's not to say that there's anything wrong with, you know, new names being competitive and being successful, but you know, I admire the fact that you've been able to capitalize on these personalities and start to think about your content kind of like in a longer sense, I suppose. Like you might, you know, be able to pull the best Madden players and put them together for an MCS tournament, but if there's no personality, there's not going to be any retention there. And I think you being kind of long-minded like that is a pretty good example. Is there something coming on top of, in addition to Bot Wars? I mean, I'm sure, you know, with the direction of your channel, what do you got cooking?
Well, we're going to have Boss Bot Wars on August 21st. Mm-hmm. That's about a week after we get to play the game. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a nasty-ass opening Bot Wars with people running a bunch of things. I'm thinking now, you know what? So many people, like, how can I play? I want to play, put me in Bot Wars. I'm thinking about having an open section of the tournament to get a spot in Bot Wars. Everybody can sign up, and whoever wins out of that bracket of people will get a little spot, even if it's in like the play-in tournament on Friday or something. But everybody will have some sort of opportunity. Because the one thing about having this, the great thing about having the same people is that, you know, people rooting for being a fan of your competitors or the rivalries you've been on, but nobody else really gets to play in it. Which, honestly, I don't really give a shit, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the point. Like we're saying, it's supposed to be a show. It's a production. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like I know who would be good to play in the tournament. I know that. Like I know all these players. I keep my thumb on all aspects of Madden at all times, so I know which guys would be good for it. You know, so and if I give an open tournament, here goes a Sweat. That's just going to be, you know, boring and not fun to watch. You know, but he's going to be really good at the game.
Right.
But we'll see. I'm still trying to iron out my the actual format details for this Boss Bot Wars 4, but it will be August 21st. It's a Friday, or it's a Saturday. It's the first Saturday. I want to say it's like 10 days after we get to play the game, and hopefully it'll be no weekend league, so everything will be kind of quiet.
Right.
If I lock in the date, August 21st, that's where it is. And the next thing I'm doing, we're going to have a live Boss Bot Wars. We're going to have an event.
My next question.
Where I fly these guys out, probably to Philly. We'll get a crowd. Everybody in there. Everybody's invited. Literally free admission. Come and sit in the crowd. And we're going to have Earl and Vose and that they keep winning up there on the stage playing with mics on. We're going to have a mic in the crowd. And we're going to do that 100%. That's going to be one of my missions, because I've always get approached about, do you want to do a tournament? And man, like I said, there's been dream hacks for $25,000 and stuff, and people show up, but they're really not a big deal. The online, just the fact that regs is dead for competitive for the most part, it just kills any type of LAN event that you're going to have. But for me, I think a live Bot Wars would be crazy. I think the energy you can get from a live crowd and just having those guys actually face to face on the stage and on the mic would be awesome. And that's kind of something that I want to put together for the next couple months. I do think the best time is springtime, when the Madden's going around that curve where it's about to fall off the cliff, and die. Kind of when we had Boss Bot Wars 2 and Boss Bot Wars 3, like that time when the weather's getting better, everybody wants to come out, that's when we're going to have it for the most part.
Like
I don't think we need to leave our houses.
Game,
Exactly. And so that's something I want to plan for the most part. But until then, we're going to keep doing Boss Bot Wars and really keep them going and try to keep the momentum up throughout this year.
I mean, I think that's a beautiful thing, and I think I probably speak on the behalf of the community when I thank you for kind of like thinking outside the box and, you know, trying to think of better content to bring us, because I have to ask you, what do you think, like, what do you feel about the state of the game right now as far as like things coming from EA, whether it be how the MCS is managed? Did you like some of this stuff that you saw last year as far as, you know, whatever it may be, Derwin versus the world, like kind of the EA's outward presence and, you know, what they're doing for the game? What do you think? And I know you're not really the one to complain about very much, but still, question stands.
I don't know. I'm really not a content. As far as the MCS goes, I mean, they're trying a bunch of things because I guess it's not being that successful. I think as much as it's easy to complain about it, right? Say, you know, at some point you got to realize, I mean, during this crazy pandemic where nobody could go anywhere, they put on a pretty good tournament, mailing people streaming equipment across the country.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to give them a pass for Madden. Honestly, it's just been a rough 3 years of Madden for the MCS. It really has. So I'm not the. Honestly, I just, you know, I don't want to say I give them a pass, but
I mean, I tend to do this.
It's really been a rough year.
I tend to feel the same way. Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, COVID was huge for me, and I don't think that's unreasonable to point out that, like, you know, we kind of got to give some pass as necessary. Did COVID have big shockwaves in your life, or did it mean a big change? Were you able to continue working as you were, or big no?
Well, it working wise, it kind of helped me. I mean, I noticed a big spike in everything that I did working wise, but I mean, I'm in Ohio now because of COVID. I mean, I don't think, if COVID didn't happen, I don't think I'd have the baby. I don't think I'd be in Ohio. I think I'd still be a knucklehead, you know, doing whatever I wanted in Philly for the most part. Yeah. So COVID's definitely helped me. It helped me lock down. It helped me stay here, not travel all over the country, doing a bunch of things and really put more effort into streaming and content, you know, and it's paid a lot of dividends just being stationary and being able to work every day of the week. So COVID's definitely helped me business wise. But it's been shitty for the same reasons it's been shitty for everybody else for the most part. But I just think it's affected it's affected MCS. I mean, we got like Madden 19 had Jacksonville. That happened, and so that kind of super fucked the MCS. Like, obviously, it's hard to recover from that. Then you have COVID. So the last 3 years have really kind of been rough for the MCS, and it's shown in their numbers and and everything that they do. It's been super affected, and it's been a rough 3 years. So
For the guys
they're definitely trying different things for sure.
So for the guys like me who kind of like got to Madden after Jacksonville and is a guy that has, lived through it in the terms of what it did to the community, what was that like, kind of as a whole, having to deal with that and the aftermath? And, of course, tragedy brings people together, but maybe not worth it in this case. What was that like?
I would say it was the worst thing that ever happened to me by far. But I'm doing whatever I can to make it the best thing that ever happened to me. It's never going to be that, but I feel like that's what I mean, life is a lesson. We've talked about them this whole time, about lessons that I've learned, and that's kind of the ultimate. It's just completely put everything you do in a different light, in a different perspective, and you just get a different gratitude for being able to do the simplest things, really, and it affects you. It's kind of like I talked about the baby, where you just can't. You can't be explained. It really can't. So, but I said, I mean, my friends like Kiv, like me and Kiv were never super close. After Jacksonville, I'll talk to him for the rest of my life. And same with everybody that was there. It's Ghosts, RG, these guys that are my friends, but now they're like lifetime family members, honestly, after that. Everybody. So, and it's definitely removed a lot of I never really had a lot of hostility in my life, but I think it's completely removed that from the Madden community. Like anything hostile or rivalries or anything like that, completely removed. It's not a part of this community at all anymore, and I think it has brought a lot of us closer, for real.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, perspective is incredibly valuable. Kep said it. Yeah, greatest teacher in life is pain. It's unfortunate that that's the case, for sure, but positive things can come of it in the end, I suppose. I don't want to dwell on that too much. Instead, I got to ask. I'm going to ask everybody this week. Do you think ScoMo is actually dripping harder than Zerk right now? Were you with the Zerk Looney Tunes shorts, or were you not on so much on that team?
No,
the Black Sox with the white shoes. Where were you at? What are you thinking?
No. Now, ScoMo is a clown, bro.
Listen,
I hope
come on now.
Here.
We can't slander ScoMo on the channel, baby. Come on now.
He wants to be 16-year-old so bad. You know what's crazy? Every second I feel like I'm getting too old to do video games, I look at ScoMo. He's like 6 years older than me. Seriously.
And he's still out here, bro.
And the thing is, he doesn't want to be 28. He literally wants to be 16. It's insane. Like, bro, honestly, it's nothing wrong with being a 30-year-old man. There's nothing wrong with that. I guess ScoMo's audience is 16. So for me, he's got to kind of fit into that. But
a little bit.
Oh, but it's crazy because I will tell you, ScoMo is probably the most helpful person that has helped me for the last 5 years, dude. Yeah. I remember meeting ScoMo. I'm like, who the hell is this little nerdy ass guy? What the hell do you do, dude? Like, why? Like, what? I remember it was at I want to say it was Orlando or it was at the Super Bowl when I went. I didn't know none of these guys, dude. Right. I didn't know shit from Shingles. I swear to God. Right. Toke, CC.
Who?
I didn't know who the fuck these guys were.
Right.
For real. I was just a guy that played Madden. Really. I knew who Problem was. I knew who Stiff was. And bro, I didn't know YouTube Madden. The only YouTube Madden I ever watched in my life was Addy Cards. That's it. And I don't even want to say I just remember it. It's not something I watched. I wasn't a YouTube guy. Dude, I was the fuck outside my whole life.
Facts.
Seriously. Before Madden 16, I was outside. I wasn't gaming like that crazy ever.
Right.
Like, so for me, YouTubers, I had no idea who these people were. I met Token, CC, like, though, these are like and ScoMo is fucking cool in real life. Yeah. He's not the nerdy dweeb 16-year-old wannabe guy. bro, he does a good job of attracting the 16-year-olds. So I meet those guys, and I always kick it off with Toke and CC and stuff. And then I'm like, damn, okay, this guy Toke is popping. And I remember Toke was the first person that like shouted me out on Twitter back. I had like 300 followers, and I was following like 1,100 people. I didn't know shit.
Right.
I didn't know anything for real. I was just a guy that played Madden for real. Right. Like there's no exaggeration in it. I just played Madden. And Toke shouted me out, and in 30 seconds, I had 3,000 followers. I'm like, what the hell is this? I thought I was the man.
Goodness gracious.
So I always kept up with them, and then ScoMo was just like, but seriously, he has helped me out. Like, I'm telling you, I would ask him a question, and he would send me, like, yo, how do I do this on Premiere? And he would send me a video from his phone showing me how to do the shit. And he's done that for 5 years to this day. He's done shit like that. So he has always helped me out so much. So he'll always be like a super good friend to me. But he wants to be 16 years old. And it's like, dude, I don't know. Maybe hopefully the kid changes him a little bit. He'll grow up a little bit.
Yeah, baby Mo's on the way. I don't know, man. I thought ScoMo's doing what he can out here. You said Toke kind of like helped you out early on too. You remember any early on content creators like for you that were like, okay, like I kind of see what they got going on, like, you know, inspiration, should you say? Were you taking notes on anybody, or do you kind of just want to do your own thing?
Well, Toke told me, everybody that plays Madden wants to win. Don't ever be fucking fooled by any of these YouTubers and like that. Yeah. They all want to win.
For sure.
All right? Like, everybody wants to win the MCS belt. Everybody wants to win it. If you're not, you're just capping. That's as simple as that. You want to win every game you play. Right. And then Toke came to me and said, you know what? That shit was stressful. Then I realized I can make more money by not giving a shit and losing. You know? And that taught me a lot. And I didn't realize it until I started playing baseball. Well, I'll tell you what, I am the most 500 ass player in baseball. Win, lose, lose every round. And people fucking love it. And and it has 1,000,000% made me a better streamer because I don't have to rely. I tell people all the time, when you're good at Madden, I don't need a face cam. I don't need a microphone. I could stream Madden and get viewers because I'm good at it, right? There's something about being good at a game that will always attract people no matter what. I'm blessed to be able to have that. But then when you go and you play a game that you're not good at, how the hell am I going to get people to watch me play this game?
Right.
And I feel like that is the next step for most people. I guess that's only a step for me because most people that stream aren't that damn good. You know,
true.
They're all good, but I mean, I'm like elite at Madden, so I don't think anybody really has that problem to where it's like, okay, now I got to know what it's like to be average at a game. But I definitely learned it, and it made me a better streamer last year when I first started playing MLB. But Toke taught me that, and Problem has helped me. We've always been close. We still talk about everything to this day about, you know, how we're making money on the side, what type of deals are there. So Problem has always guided me. He taught me, don't give a shit who's streaming, just keep going. What these other people, don't allow people, that other streamers, to dictate when you make money. He taught me that. He said for me, it started early when he was on and he had to go against Cullenberger and Toke streaming, and he had to push through, and he told me, don't ever let other people dictate when you can make money. You know, he taught me that, honestly, probably Madden 16, 17. And so I definitely still talk to him. So between Toke and Problem and CC and ScoMo, those guys probably helped me the most. Now it's my boys, my Skimbo, he's motivated me. The amount of grinding he's put in. Yeah, Skimbo, the amount of effort he's put in the streaming and really getting after it has motivated me. And like I said, everybody that streams Madden and putting out content and grinding motivates the hell out of me. More so, you know, the smaller streamers, for real. Like, that shit is like, it's mind blowing to me. Like, you see people super celebrating things that I accomplished so long. Like, you know, and for me, it makes me so happy. Like, you know, it makes me feel blessed be where I'm at. Because when you're in this field, you're never content. There's never a content feeling. For me, it's always anxiety of I'm not doing enough, no matter what. Sure. I could be doing something else. I'm tired as hell, but I could be on my computer doing something. So you always feel this anxiety of missing out on something. And to see people so happy over certain milestones really motivates me and makes me feel blessed and helps me calm down a little bit. And then, like I said, if you guys are grinding your ass off, who the hell am I not to keep working, honestly? So that's a big deal for me.
And I think there's a lot of like, those guys, myself included, that are that are looking to accomplish some of the things that you already have. So I mean, like, while we have them here, while we have you, while you have their ear, kind of like in the way that Problem and Tok did for you, do you have any advice on what they should prioritize, what they should think is valuable? Is it quality over quantity? Should we be streaming more or less, or well timed? Do you have any advice to get one of these new guys off the ground?
What's up? What? Do you want me to take him?
Baby duty. Oh, I went over on a new father, bro. That's very bad.
It'll be fine. I gotta watch the baby.
Oh my goodness gracious! This is the content I came for. Oh man, stream just got way better looking. What's up?
12 o'clock. 12 o'clock is my watching time.
12 o'clock, daddy duty.
Buddy?
What's up there, brother?
You see the boys?
Does he love the stream setup? Does he love all the lights and looking at everything?
Yeah, he's pretty content looking at anything, really. So,
bro, I know I went over on you a little bit here. I said to budget for an hour, and I want you to be able to get onto daddy duty with that handsome young man there, bro. Is there anything there, Dubby, that you would like to leave the chat with? Any notes of encouragement for the small streamers watching, bro? I mean, a full circle moment for me, and again, want to be respectful of your time, but like truly an honor and a pleasure to get you on the show this morning, bro. Especially when you have so many other things to be doing. I really appreciate it. Is there anything you'd like to sign off with the congregation with?
All right. Well, I will tell you, I always felt like Madden, when I won the belt, I wanted to make streaming a thing, man. I always felt like I needed EA. I always felt like I needed help. And I felt like as a belt winner, they would help me. I felt like they would be on my side. I felt like they could catapult me to a career in gaming. I really felt that way. And they never did. They have ignored me. They have never helped me. They have never supported me. Period. They never have.
That's a shame.
And it's not. See, it's not a shame, because that taught me the lesson that I don't need anybody else. You don't need anybody but yourself. For real. I had such the anxiety that I need help from these people. I need help from EA. I need help from bigger streamers. I need help. I need help. I need help. You always feel like, who's going to help me? Who's going to reach out? And who's going to do this, that nobody did shit. Like I said, my friends, the friends we talked about did. But for me, EA never did anything, and it taught me I don't need anybody. All I need is myself. If I want something, you can go get it, honestly. And for me, the biggest lessons are just never care about who else is streaming, and never pay it for Twitch, at least. I feel like I'm a Twitch expert. But YouTube or anything like this, I was talking to Magunsky, my baseball friend, who's pretty much all into YouTube now, and I told him, when I'm streaming, I never know how many people are in my chat, ever. I never have any idea.
That's actually wild. I didn't know that.
Because when you do, that's all you look at. And
Facts.
It's never a positive thing.
You're right.
The amount of viewers you have is never positive.
Yeah.
It never makes you happy. It can only be a depressing thing that kills your mood.
Right.
Even because you'll always compare the viewers you have to your maximum night. Like, oh damn, that one night I had 800 people. Damn, I only got 700. How can I get to 800 people?
Right.
You'll always feel that way. So I never look at who else is streaming, and I never look at how many viewers I have. And I think it's completely helped me. I started doing that probably this year for Madden 21. And it's probably the best thing I ever did for my Twitch career. So that's the best advice I could give,
bro.
Streamers and everything like that.
I mean, free mental jewelry with that much value is pretty rare there, bro. I mean, I know we all know you as the belt winner, successful content creator, but I'm glad we kind of got the more full picture of the lessons in humility you had to learn from, the first time your boy ran your pockets for $60, you know what I mean, through bugs, cheating the mess out of you. And, those stories I think are as important to understanding you and the drive and the persistence. And like you said, like, you don't need anybody else but you. You are far enough. And I appreciate you, you know, leading by example and everything that's happening in the community, bro. I think you're, you're the man for the job in that way. So I appreciate you leading from the front, Dubby.
For sure. I mean, that's I take pride in that. I take pride in inspiring and influencing a lot of people. You know, I just that's something I want to do. I want people to say like that guy made me a better streamer, or you know, I took this from him, or he paved the way to do this, that, and the third within Madden because you know, I feel like I have a good grasp on it, and you know, I mean, we're here for a long time now, so we're gonna keep going.
That's it, bro. I mean, here I am, bro. Product of that work and that effort that you've been putting in, man. I'm gonna let you get back to daddy duty with that handsome young man, Dubby. Truly a pleasure and an honor, bro. I appreciate your time so much. Boss Bot Wars, August 21st, locked in. 21st. Okay, yep. When can we catch you? What's schedule looking like right now until 22? A little light, a little sparse.
No, I have not been light at all. I stream every single night, probably 10 p.m. to about 4 a.m. Really. And then my most productive hours for me are like 4 a.m. till now. You know, I slept for a half an hour because I went to go lay down and then he woke up and she said, watch him. So I was up pretty much all night and really, so.
Dubby, man, one of the hardest working dudes out, man. I have been Fend. This has been Dubby. Make sure we catch Boss Bot Wars Part 4, BBW 4, August 21st. Dubby, man, a pleasure and an honor. Thank you again so much for your time, bro. That kid is so good looking. That's ridiculous.
All right, boys. I appreciate it. Thanks, fam.
Dubby, be easy, man. Thank you.
All right.
Peace.